English couple named Gemma and Charlie just recently got married. They live a happy life together. However, Charlie's divorce with his ex-wife has taken a financial toll on them. Because of this, they decided to move to an old house in a small but peaceful town in France. A French guy named Martin sees the couple who are moving in, and he introduces himself to them. Martin tells his family that their last name is Bovery, and it amazes him because their first names are almost identical to the characters on the novel Madame Bovary. Martin is a baker and owns his own bake shop. One day, the couple comes over to his store and Martin couldn't help but stare at the beauty of Charlie's wife. Later that afternoon, the old man bumps into Gemma and he teaches her a shortcut going home. On their way, Gemma notices a large mansion, and Martin says it belongs to a wealthy family. As they bid farewell, Martin becomes much more infatuated with the woman. One evening, Charlie goes to the old man's house and asks for help because they lost electricity. Martin comes over to help them fix it, and they later invite him and his wife for a drink. During the conversation, all that Martin does is stare at Gemma, and he can feel that the woman is longing for something. Gemma starts to complain about their old house. It's cold, the roof leaks, and it is infested with vermin. She looks outside the window and looks very upset. One day, Gemma goes to the bakery, and Martin invites her to see how he makes the bread. He teaches her how to knead the dough gently, and Gemma says it feels relaxing and magical. It starts to get warm, so the woman pulls up her hair and takes off her jacket, seemingly seducing the old man. The next day, the neighbors gather for lunch. Gemma is a good painter, so Wizzy brings her inside their large house to have it decorated by her. One day while walking through the shortcut, Gemma gets stung by a bee. Martin sees her and helps her get rid of it. He says that he must suck out the venom and Gemma tells him to do it now. A lad from the big mansion named Harvey sees their awkward situation and he asks what is going on. As the old man is trying to explain, Gemma suddenly fainted. They bring her to a clinic, and the doctor says that she was just having an allergic reaction. Gemma thanks the two lads who helped her, and as they are traveling home, Harvey can't help but stare at his beautiful passenger. Gemma leans on Martin's shoulder and the old man thinks that the young lady is starting to like him. Wizzy visits Gemma to talk about the color she wants for her house. She shows her a magazine which features her friend Patrick and his wife's house. Gemma is surprised because Patrick is her ex-boyfriend. She remembers when they were still happily dating, until one day, she catches him cheating with another woman, so she decided to leave him. Gemma is upset because her ex has been living a good life, while she is struggling in a poor house with her miserable husband. One day, Martin sees Gemma in a flower shop. She is approached by Harvey, and the old man can see that there is a strong romantic tension between the two. Gemma's mood starts to brighten up, and one time at a grocery, the two get to see each other again. After advising her which wine she should buy, Harvey invites her to their mansion. On the road, Martin sees her behind his car, but instead of heading straight home, the young wife turns right. The old man seems disappointed as she sees her parked outside the mansion. That evening, the neighbors gather for dinner at Gemma's house, and Martin couldn't stop thinking what the young wife was doing at the mansion. And when he sees a hickey on Gemma's neck, the old man concluded that they actually did it. He felt sad for her husband who was clueless about her affair. Gemma frequently goes to Harvey's mansion, and Martin wanted to tell her to put an end to it because she might meet the same tragic fate as Madame Bovary in the novel. The next day, Gemma goes to the bakery. Martin asks how is her husband doing, and she says that he is in London for work. After paying, Gemma hurriedly leaves, but she left a piece of bread on the counter. Martin delivers the bread to Gemma's house, but then he sees that Gemma's boy toy is there, and this crushed the old man's heart. One day, Gemma tells her clueless husband that she will just be going for a walk. She sneaks into the neighbor's mansion, and as they are doing it, they accidentally knock over a very valuable figurine. Harvey says that his mother would kill him, and Gemma assures him that her husband could fix it because it is his job. Before leaving, Gemma asks the young lad to come with her to London, and Harvey promises that he will. However, the next day, Gemma receives a mail from the lad saying farewell to her. She tries calling him, but he wouldn't answer. In the mansion, Harvey's mother Edith is looking for her precious figurine, and the lad says it got a little scratch, so he brought it to a skilled restorer. Gemma is uneasy, so she decides to go to the mansion. However, she receives a text from Harvey saying he can't go with her to London. The young wife is heartbroken and goes home crying. Edith later goes to their house and asks Charlie for the figurine. Charlie says he didn't receive one and he does not know her son. Edith rides the car where Harvey is waiting, and together they leave for Paris. Martin watches them and it seems that he had something to do with it. That evening, Charlie tells his wife about the figurine, and Gemma decides to tell him the truth. But before she could say anything, Charlie says he does not want to hear it. It seems that the husband already has a hint about her affair because she has been acting strange lately. Charlie packs up and heads back to London, leaving Gemma alone in the house. When Martin visits her, Gemma shows him a letter written in French and asks for his help to read it. Martin says it is from Edith's lawyer asking for the return of the figurine. Gemma says it was in their house, but she couldn't find it. She asks Martin's help to write a reply, but the old man keeps getting distracted by Gemma, who seems to be teasing him. They get interrupted by a mouse, and Martin is very angry, so he killed it. He later sees arsenic in their house, and Gemma says it's for the mice. It is the poison that killed Madame Bovary, so he angrily tells Gemma to get rid of it. One day, Gemma goes to Wizzy's house and finds her ex-boyfriend Patrick talking with them. He is surprised to see her, and it seems that she has not yet moved on from the pain. Patrick approaches Gemma and tells her that he and his wife are now separated. He invites her to go out, but she declines. The next day, Martin sees that Gemma's car has broken down. He is about to approach her when Patrick comes out and comforts the distressed wife. They make out in the middle of the street, and Martin couldn't believe because Gemma is now having a second affair just like Madame Bovary. While having lunch, Gemma tells Patrick that she regretted what they did, and she does not want it to happen again, to which Patrick agrees. While she is moving out their things, Gemma finds the figurine that is already fixed. She calls her husband to thank him and says that she missed him. Martin visits her, and he noticed that she packed up everything in the house. When Gemma says she wants to end all of this, the old man got worried that she might end her life just like what Madame Bovary did. He accidentally mentioned about Harvey leaving her, and Gemma realizes that it was Martin who wrote that letter of farewell. The old man explains that he was just worried about her, and Gemma says she wouldn't end up like Madame Bovary because it was just a novel. However, she appreciates his concern and kisses him. The next day, Martin leaves bread in front of Gemma's house. Patrick later comes over and says that someone left them outside. He asks her to come live with him in London, but Gemma still declines. Charlie arrives home, but moments later, he comes running to Martin to ask for help. When the old man comes over, he sees the lifeless body of Gemma on the floor. That evening, Martin asks the doctor if Gemma died from arsenic. The doctor is confused, and he tells him that she died from choking on a piece of bread, the bread that he left her earlier. At the funeral, Martin tells Charlie that he felt guilty to what happened to Gemma, but the husband says it was his fault because when he arrived, he thought that Patrick was doing his wife, so he pulled and beat him up. Patrick also blames himself because while Gemma was eating, he tried to be intimate, which led her to choking on the bread. He tried to do the Heimlich maneuver, but Charlie misunderstood it. When he finally realized, it was already too late. 6 months later, Martin's son tells him about their new neighbor from Russia, a woman named Anna Karenina. This name startled Martin because it is another character from a Russian novel who also ended up in a tragic death. When Martin left, his son reveals that he was just kidding. Her name is actually Mercy, and she is not from Russia. Not knowing this, Martin goes to introduce himself to her, hoping to prevent another novel-based tragedy from happening. Did you like our movie recap? Please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. To be updated for new movie recaps, hit the notification bell.